Studio.
I can't wait to play with myself every day.
The Sportsocracy.
Damn the devil to hell! Let the big dog thief! Let him on the field!
Come get you some of this.
Fire them cannons! By golly, put more powder in those things.
He couldn't take any more disappointment.
Oh my God. The Jets killed him.
You're damn right the Jets killed me because they suck on ice. What up, everybody? This is Jeremy Green. I am live from my office in Greenville, South Carolina. Tank is getting robbed in New York or whatever the hell he's doing. He is safe in New York. We have spoken lightly. He is in New York getting a big-ass award today. Marconi, one of the biggest awards in our business, and Tank is in New York City doing that. I am getting ready to head back to Atlanta, a place that I swear to God I'm going to buy a condo because I feel like I'm there all the time. Austin Groves said, wordy dirts or no? Fuck yeah, wordy dirts. This is uncensored. We're going to do about an hour today. If I'm checking my phone, I apologize. There's a lot of moving pieces. I am doing Falcons Bills tonight. And we have a very large group of people going with us, so I'm trying to coordinate all the people. Who's getting to the hotel when? Where are we meeting? Where are we having dinner? So, apologies. Also, this is an early Monday night game, so be sure to be in front of your television at 7:15 because this game starts an hour early, which I knew that, and I forgot it and realized it at some point today, which has thrown things into chaos. This is going to be like one of those good old draft live streams where we are not on ESPN Radio today, as I'm sure you can tell by the less than awesome. I mean, my office is sweet, but we don't have all of the radio things and all that good shit. So this is just YouTube only, so you can ask any question that you want to ask. I'm going to go through the chat. It'll be like a great big chat between us. I do have to find a super chat button, which I know is here somewhere. We'll go with that one. And we have a couple super chats to start. Oh, we start with putting in work. The refs suck. Indiana is the second best team in college football. I agree, and I hope to God that Kirk Cignetti is the next head coach of my Florida State Seminoles. I know everybody talks about him going to Penn State, but why would you want to? I think that's what's been lost in the whole James Franklin getting fired. Why would you want to go to Penn State? This is a school that was in the college football playoff semifinal 1 year ago. They were the number 3 team in the nation 17 days ago. 16 days ago. Sorry, math's hard. And 16 days later, he's out of a job. Why the fuck would I want to go to Penn State? First of all, it's a grossly overrated job in the first place. It's a top 12 to 15 job nationally. You don't have as much money as people think. You have national title expectations, and you don't recruit that way. They get good players. They look at Ohio State, look at Penn State. And before you tell me, but James Franklin's the wrong coach. Okay. Who are they going to replace him with? So you fired James Franklin, who, outside of Joe Paterno, is the most successful coach you've ever had. You fire him coming off a CFP semifinal appearance. How many coaches do you think are going, yeah, let's go do the Penn State thing? That'll be fun. Because I don't think it's nearly as many as you think it is. I think there's a great chance that the next head coach at Penn State is Manny Diaz, and nobody wants to hear that. And I'll tell you this. I have this on good authority. Manny Diaz would be the fallback at Florida State. If it comes down to Florida State or Penn State, I think he would take Florida State. That is where he went to school. Another super chat from Sir Jimothy. Falafel Jerry Jones. Hell with it. We're on YouTube. Fuck Jerry Jones. Fuck Matt Eberflus. Billy Napier and Philadelphia. Doesn't it feel better when you can say the full word? You know, the falafel thing's fun. It's a lot more fun when you can just say the hell with it. which is what I can do today. Be the example who has already told me there is something on its way to the Ingles studio from him. Said Baker be MVP. I don't want to admit this, and it's going to pain me with the fire of 1,000 suns. He's not wrong. He's not wrong. If I had a vote for MVP right now, it would be Baker Mayfield. And I don't think I would have to think about it all that much. Right now, and I said this last week, and I'll say it again. If I was voting for MVP right now, my ballot would be Baker 1, Sam Darnold 2, Daniel Jones 3. And if I have 5, I'll leave the other 2 blank because they don't matter. I may be seeing my 4 tonight because I think Josh Allen probably makes it on the ballot. But I would take the other 3 being the most valuable players to their team. Randy L., don't worry. I'm going to get to that one real soon. I just don't see how it can be anybody else. You mix the expectations with what you have gotten. And right now, Baker Mayfield would be my MVP, and I'm eating crow as I am eating crow in a way that competitive eaters would be jealous of. Because you're exactly right. Baker has been everything this year that I always said he wasn't. He's playing within the confines of himself. He's doing all of the things that Tampa Bay would want him to do, and I think he fits with this offensive coordinator perfectly. If I had a vote right now, Baker Mayfield would be my MVP. Colin with another super chat. Said, uncensored, let's go. It was a good night for me because no one had my Chiefs winning. Let's go. And that's a great place to really get started with the scheduled content. I still have a lot of reservations about Kansas City. I was somewhat impressed by last night, more by the defense than by the offense. My bigger takeaway from last night was Detroit cannot win as they are currently constituted. Not the offense. The offense is fine. I actually heard Chris Collinsworth make a good point last night, which is rare. That when Detroit can play from in front of you and they can run, they can pass, all of the misdirection works. You don't know exactly what they're doing. That offense is borderline impossible to stop. When it becomes Jared Goff has to sit back there, wing it, and beat you, that becomes a little more difficult. And with no DJ Reed, no Terrion Arnold, no Anderson Rakestraw, that secondary was not just bad, it was putrid last night. Missing 5 of their 6 corners that made the initial roster. It was bad. And I'm not going to lie to you, I was not overly impressed with the Kansas City offense. It was pitch and catch to wide open receivers. For Kansas City's sake, I'm glad you won it. You needed to win it. If you'd gone to 2-4, the season takes a markedly different turn. I'm more worried about what I saw out of Detroit than I am happy about what I saw out of Kansas City, even though what I saw out of Kansas City was encouraging. I would just temper the expectations, remembering that you get Rashee Rice back, and that's going to be a bit of a wrench into the offensive equation for the next, I would say, 2 to 4 weeks. But Kansas City did look better. Detroit, holy shit. Can we get a corner in here, please? We have another super chat. Randy L., what can be done about the New Orleans refs? They were awful. I heard a lot about this. I did not get to see as much of that. I mean, I saw it on the replay. I didn't get to see as much, so I'm going to need y'all to tell me exactly what it is you're referencing. I know there was a weird call on Stephon Diggs because I saw that. You got to remember, when I'm watching tape, I don't necessarily get the down and distance, and if I do, I'm not always paying attention to it. I know there was one on the sideline on Stephon Diggs that I still can't figure out what exactly happened. I feel like it had to be an OPI, even though I didn't see that called. And it would be a bit of a bitch call if I was being 100% honest. So, in the chat, Randy, he said complete phantom OPI calls all over the place. That's what I thought you were probably talking about. Officials are just not good. I mean, this is a time we've been worried about the tush push. We've been worried about all these other things. We really need to get to a point where the sky judge can go, listen, motherfucker, this was not hard to see. You got this wrong. And I'm not saying on every call. We went through this in baseball. There's got to be some oversight because there were calls that I saw over the weekend. You're changing the outcome of games. And that should never happen, especially on suspect calls. Joshua Pennick said the no call on McBride was insane. He got held the entire route. I agree with you. All right, so I'm going to go on a little tangent about officials, and maybe this will make you understand why sometimes I go, I am a big fan of letting them play. There are a handful of things that we do in the NFL that I'm going to be 100% honest with you, I'm never throwing the flag. If you underthrow that back shoulder and the receiver has to work back through the corner and there's not a damn thing the corner can do, I will never throw that flag, and I will never want somebody to throw that flag because you can't defend it. It's physically impossible to defend. We have done everything to protect quarterbacks. We have done everything to score more points and all of those things. I am not going to bail you out with those bullshit calls. That's A. B, I'm always going to be on the side of if you get full flexion on the elbow and the arm is dead straight, I am okay with that being called OPI. I need it to be more consistent, and I need it to happen every single time. Then we get to the hold. All right, that Trey McBride play, I did see it. There was definitely hand fighting. I can't say that he would have definitively been able to catch that pass regardless because it was way outside. Now, I don't know how much he held him up. If he had thrown the flag, you would have gotten no objection from me. I get it. I think a lot of times in those do-or-die situations, refs, hold flags because they don't want to be what directly influences the game. The problem that I have is that that's not how you call the game for the previous 59 minutes, and I have a huge objection to that. I'm not going to lie to you. I did not watch a lot of Colts-Cardinals live. I don't know how they called that game. So for me to take that one call in a vacuum, that's a little hard for me, and that's just me being honest. At some point this week, I'll go back and watch the tape, and I'll have more of an opinion on it. I just think officials are very inconsistent, and there doesn't seem to be any legislation on the officials. So you just get by with whatever, and then I see this same shitty officiating crew back out there a week from now. And that's where my problem comes in. It's my little rant about officials. Colin said, Jeremy, please just give my Chiefs credit. I mean, I did to a point. Can't control who we play and who's injured on other teams. I never said you could. Who's hurt on that side but it matters. That's the thing you have to and this is where I get into issues with fans all the time, is that there are times that you're not playing the team that you're playing on paper. And so what I saw out of Kansas City last night was what I already knew they could do. I know if Pat Mahomes has open pick and pop opportunities to Juju Smith-Schuster and Travis Kelce and anybody else, whether it's Rashee Rice coming back, I know he can do that. That's not my problem. My problem with Kansas City is when you're playing a team, because Kansas City doesn't have just make the playoffs aspirations. If they did, then hell yeah, I'm jumping up and down about last night because you beat a team that I know definitively is going to be in the playoffs, whether they were all good or not. Kansas City has Super Bowl aspirations. For Kansas City, if they're not in the Super Bowl, this was a bad year. So that is the bar that I'm holding them against. The secondary they played last night doesn't have anything to do with that. So that's where I'm coming from. It's not that I'm not giving credit to the Chiefs. That just didn't actually do anything for what they're trying to do. I hope that answer more explains where I'm coming from there. I am trying to keep up with the chat. I'm one man, so apologies if I miss things. If I do miss things, just throw them back out there. We have breaking news that Darius Smith just retired. He did. I saw that right before I walked in here. He hadn't played a ton, so I mean, it's a name, and that part sucks. Other than that, I don't think it really has a huge effect on the year. Randy L. said it's mostly me bitching about the refs. I'll be honest with you. What I did get to see, because I've been here, there, and everywhere this weekend, what I did see, there was a lot of inconsistency in officials, which seems to be a problem in the NFL. It's been a problem in the NFL for a long time. I just hope that at some point we get to the rules committee and we stop with this bullshit of, well, we don't want to be robot umpires and the mistakes being made as part of the game. That's all bullshit. Get the call right. Get the call right every time. You have the technology to get the call right. Get the fucking call right. And there's my rant on that. Joshua Brooks said, Jags let me down majorly yesterday, but still had a chance to come back and win, but they have lowered significantly in my ranking. They have not lowered in mine. Seattle has risen in mine. I thought yesterday Jacksonville-Seattle was a really good battle between two teams that are way better than you want to think they are. And so, yes, the offenses were not great. I think that was more because you had some really good defense than because anything happened with the two offenses. I'm going to look up the Jags schedule. This is a team that I'm on record as saying I believe in quite a bit. All right, they play the Rams next week. That could be a little dicey. It's in London. They tend to do pretty well in London. And now that was when they were bad and from a competitive standpoint. So, but then you go into a bye. Coming out of the bye, you get the Raiders, the Texans, the Chargers, who do not look anything like they used to. The Cardinals, the Titans, the Colts, the Jets, the Broncos, the Colts, and the Titans. I genuinely don't think Jacksonville will be a dog in more than 2 games for the rest of the year. So I would still have a pretty lofty expectation for the Jaguars, also knowing that is a team that I would be very happy that I'm getting the bye this early, and I'm not an early bye guy. I want the bye as late in the season as I get it. I think Jacksonville needs it to clean up some of these procedural issues and just general sloppiness. Jacksonville cleans that up, they're going to be damn tough to beat. Joshua Penix, my major complaint is that refs just refuse to call penalties in the last 2 minutes. I agree with that, and it really irks me when they've been ticky-tack throughout the game, and then it gets super tight at the end where you can't get anything. That's a lot. Brooks said the O-line for the Jaguars allowed 33 pressures. That's Seattle defense. I'm telling you, nobody wants to hear me on this because Seattle's geographically remote. They're not a super popular team, and they're not a team that a lot of people watch. Look, the way most of – and I know there are people in many states that hear me when we do this. If you don't understand football on the East Coast, by 4:05 – half of us are hammered. And so that is the one thing I've never heard anybody on any national platform say, is that one of the things that screws these West Coast teams is that there's a large swath of the population that they might watch the game and forget every damn bit of it. Ronnie George was at a bar yesterday. He told me there were drunk 49er fans all over the place. Yeah, they're going to forget exactly what they just saw. They'll remember the outcome of the game, but in terms of independent little things, it becomes a lot harder to remember. And I think you get that with Seattle. They play so often in that 4:25 slate. They play a lot of games where it's cloudy or it's raining or it's gross, and they wind up just being that fourth 4 o'clock game. And so people forget all about them. That Seattle team's really good. And I will tell you, when I do power rankings tomorrow, from this room, I will be right back here tomorrow at noon doing Power Rankings Tuesday. Just me. Seattle will be probably in the top 5. Might be even higher than that, depending on what happens tonight. Eamon Report said, stock down Denver despite winnings. I have questions about Bo Nix. As a fan of a team that has now lost to him 2 times, I have a shitload of questions about Bo Nix. One of which is, are you actually any good? Because I don't think you are. Every quarterback the Jets have played has been able to take advantage of the second part of that defense. Bo Nix couldn't. He couldn't do it. And I'm not going to lie to you. I watched Denver and go, defense is really good. When you can run and everything's balanced, it's fine. When you can't run, and it's hard to run on the Jets. Real easy to throw on the Jets. Kind of hard to run on them. I have a lot of questions about Denver. I have a lot of questions about Bo Nix. And as for the Jets, how do I say this delicately? I fucking tried to tell you. Everybody wanted to argue with me, oh, no, the Team X is worse than the Jets. No, the hell you're not. You know how I know that? Because I've been watching this sport for 35 years. I've never seen an offense as bad as the Jets. It is the worst offense I've ever seen. It is awful. Awful. And I agree that with Joshua Penix, the Jets should be banned from television until at least next year. That's a weird way to say 2030, because that's how long they should be banned. Oh, and by the way, fire Aaron Glenn right now. Let's see. Gambit fan, Jeremy, would you agree with the O-line no longer being elite and the offensive coordinator not being creative has exposed Jalen Hurts being everything evaluators said he'd be and not be? Yes. I think Philadelphia is showing right now what it is about Jalen Hurts that people like me always said, look, he's not that great of a thrower of the ball. He's got a decently big arm, but he's not super accurate, and he's super inconsistent. His throwing motion makes my brain hurt. And there are just a lot of things about Jalen Hurts that I don't love. You know what I love him? When he's got Saquon Barkley behind him, you have to deal with that on RPOs consistently, and he's got two high-end receivers that can beat you deep at any given time. Teams right now are looking at Kevin Patullo going, that's not how you're calling this game, so I'm just going to stack the box, make you one-dimensional, and make Jalen Hurts beat me. It's worked. Some. And then it didn't against Denver. Putting in work, what's your take on the timeout Kirby called, timeout in quotation marks, and then claimed he didn't? Well, he's a fucking liar. I saw him call it. I was in a bar and not paying a whole lot of attention to that game. And I heard the commotion of that happening. And I went over and watched it and just laughed and went, this is why people lose their shit about officials. Because this was as clear as the nose on my face. And with my big-ass nose, that's pretty clear. Soaring Eagle asked if I saw his question on Miami. I did not see your specific question. Let me go back and see if I can see it. I know you sent me a video of Tua that I'm not. Tua's looking for answers that he doesn't have. I mean, because the answers with Miami are very fucking simple. This team's not good. Their coach is outsmarting himself. And there's really no repercussion, no recourse but to fire him. As long as Mike McDaniel is here, this is where you are. Okay, I found your. What are your thoughts on the Miami Dolphins after seeing that incredibly damning video of Tua? I mean, it's the same thing that I thought, is that this is a completely feckless ownership group. It's an impotent coaching staff, and it's a quarterback that thinks he's way better than he is. The Miami Dolphins right now are, to me, in about the worst place you can be. They're old, they're expensive, and they're not good. And I think they're a team that starts trading off. By the way, don't be shocked if we see a handful of trades tomorrow. Bradley Chubb being one of the first ones that I would look to. And I won't be shocked if it's to San Francisco. I'm actually checking right now just to make sure that I haven't missed one because I've been on the road all morning. Okay, I do not see one. All right, so we're good there. Okay. Randy L. So how's the Justin Fields experience for a Jets fan? Negative 10 yards is wild. Worst since Ryan Leaf. That is never a sentence that you want to have your team put with. That shit was actually worse than Ryan Leaf. I'm not going to spend long on this because it's the worst team in the league and doesn't deserve much time. The New York Jets are the most infuriating team I've ever seen. to the point of I actually hate this team at this point. I'll level with you. I didn't watch much of yesterday's game. I didn't want to. I didn't want to wake up early. I had other shit to do. And I saw bits and pieces, and it went exactly how I thought it would. I picked up in about the third quarter when the safety happened, the Jets took the lead, and I said they will find a way to lose this game probably on a field goal. And that was when they were up 11-10. Denver kicked a field goal sometime in the fourth quarter, won it 13-11. And I wasn't shocked in the least. Justin Fields blows dead bears. And the quicker Aaron Glenn figures that out, the better off he will be. But getting defiant with New York media, and what kind of question is that? Well, it's a fucking realistic one. And it's a question that you should be answering there, Aaron, because this was your guy that you tabbed all offseason. Meanwhile, all of us analysts are going, you know he sucks, right? Wouldn't hear it, won't hear it. You suck, and I'm now 100% convinced Aaron Glenn will be one and done in New York. Sir Jimothy asked, how can you be higher than top 5? You could be top 4. That would be higher than top 5. John Carmen, I trust Seattle more on the road than I do at home. I heard a couple people say that yesterday, and that's bizarre to me, but they have won a shitload of games on the road in a row. Gambit, are we finally done with Justin Fields? I've been done with Justin Fields for 4 years. That's never changed. I at one time said I think he will be better for the rushing attack than Aaron Rodgers was, and I don't think you can just blitz the shit out of him. I was right on the first one. I was horribly wrong on the second one. 5-man blitz, and you're up his ass. And the next person I hear say, but the line's fine. He can't pick up a 5-man blitz, and he holds the ball 3 times too long. Justin Fields sucks. Sucks on ice. Randy L., if the Jets get relegated, you can jump on the May train. It's probably a good time to get into that. Drake May is a dog. I think Drake May's already a top 10 quarterback in this league. And I think Drake May is a really good example of what I've always said about Jordan Love and what I had said about Baker Mayfield up into this year and a lot of different players over the years. They don't have that upside. Drake May does. Drake May has an upside that is as high as any quarterback that I've seen in the last 10 years. He can be a top 3 quarterback in this league. I mean, he can be Josh Allen. He can be Pat Mahomes. Not Pat Mahomes because Pat's different in terms of legacy and things like that. Drake can be as good as any of them. And now is a really good time to go back and say, hey, you should check out my rankings for that quarterback class 2 years ago and realize I didn't miss. That there was 0 miss in that entire class. I had 2 franchise quarterbacks, 1 absolute lottery ticket that you're going to have to get completely right, and 3 guys that I don't think are franchise quarterbacks. J.J. McCarthy has not been a franchise quarterback. Bo Nix has not, and Michael Penix has yet to show that he is. He gets a good chance to shut people like me up tonight, though. Monday Night Football, I will be there live. You can see us on all the social medias at the Sportsocracy with Clarissa Sells, WNC.com, and some of my Bills fans' friends. I'm really dedicated to going through a table of some kind tonight, and I'd like it to be on fire with a what's that damn beer they drink? I keep wanting to say it's not Pabst Blue. Labatt's Blue in my hand. Oh, let's see. We have a super chat. It's from Great North Sports. Where does Breece Hall get traded? I asked this on Great North Sports. I've heard a lot of different places. The ones that make the most sense to me are Kansas City, because Kansas City gets a lot of comp picks. I think he's going to get about a third. And I won't be shocked if it's a conditional third. It's a third if he's only on the roster the rest of the year. It's a second if you re-sign him. First if you get to a Super Bowl and you re-sign him. I think there will be conditions on that. Because Breece Hall is one of the best running backs in the league. But the Jets are so far away, you can't waste time. So I do think he gets traded. Kansas City makes, if I was ranking them in order, I would say Kansas City makes the most sense. Pittsburgh's up there pretty high. That's really the only 2 in the AFC that make a ton of sense to me. In the NFC, Chicago. Chicago would make sense. That's probably the three that make the most sense to me. Hold on just a second. Okay, we have another super chat from Sir Jimothy. And I think this is a pretty good one. Interception return yards should be subtracted from quarterback yards. I like the way that college does it, where they subtract your sack yards from your total yards. Interception yards, that gets a little more dicey, but I'm not against it. I'm not against it. Let's see. Be sure to get your super chats in. I've got about 20 more minutes before the convoy heads out of Greenville, South Carolina for Atlanta. Eamon Report said Fernando Mendoza, an offensive-minded coach to the Jets in 2026. I'm not against that. I'll be honest with you. This quarterback class is going to drive me to drinking. I mean, this quarterback class is holy shit. Every time I think I know something, it goes completely sideways. John Mateer will have that game against Texas used against him for the next 9 months, 8 months, however long it is. And I don't think he should have even been playing in the game. So I still like Mateer. I still like Mendoza. I'm not as high on Dante Moore, but I like him as well. I think there's a possibility that almost none of these guys come out. The seniors obviously will, but I think this could be a terrible year to have the number one pick. Randy Ilk, Glenn's in way over his head. Is it fixable? No. No. He is one and done, no doubt, for me. Moabdi asked me, Jeremy, do you agree that there are no longer program building in college football? It's a year-to-year proposition due to the portal, hence increased pressure on head coaches. I absolutely do, and I'm actually glad you said that, because that's one of the things I've been thinking about today is I don't know that we have secure coaches in college football anymore. James Franklin, to me, proves that every single coach is no more than 18 months of bad football away from being unemployed. It is shocking how easy it is for a coach to get fired. Just a little bit of bad football and too lofty expectations. We cut the check, and you don't live up to the expectations, and then we're out. We're just Seacrest out. You're done. It's shocking to me. The James Franklin thing blows my mind. I get Penn State fans being pissed. I don't understand the administration not being smarter than that. Let's see. Austin Grove said, how about the line of Detroit was only good because of their OC and DC? How's that working out for the haters? 2 wins between them, and those two were both Ben Johnsons. Could be 3 tonight. I don't think it will be, but it could be. Let's see. Gambit fan asked, who would want anyone on the Miami Dolphins? They got a couple pass rushers. I mean, look, Miami's got players that would be attractive. I mean, let me pull up their salary cap ledger here. Just going off over the cap. You know, Miami, I think Bradley Chubb would be intriguing. I think Jalen Phillips would be intriguing. The problem with Jalen Phillips is that they don't really save much with him. They do this year. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, I mean, he's Jalen Phillips is an expiring contract. So That makes him really intriguing. Jordan Brooks, that deal's pretty new. There's not a ton else. But, I mean, just those guys are really intriguing between Chubb and Jalen Phillips. Obviously, your bigger ticket items are harder to move. But Eamon Report said Denver needs a quarterback competition next year. I don't disagree with you, but I never saw it out of Bo Nix. I've been a Bo Nix detractor the entire time he's been in the league, and really nothing's changed. The only thing that's changed for me is that more people are seeing it now the way that I did, which is I watched this guy last year be as bad as Justin Fields was yesterday, and nobody gave a shit because they won. Winning is one of those things. People say, oh, it cures all ills. No, it doesn't. It can mask them for a while, but it doesn't cure them. Let's see. Randy L. said the Patriots need to target either Trey Hendrickson or Kamara. I have heard both could be moved. So I've heard a lot of names could be moved. I think you're going to get some electric Tuesdays. The next 3 Tuesdays are going to be really, really interesting. Randy L. said, everyone hit the like if you had more passing yards than the Jets did yesterday, which would be all of you if you have the ability to hit that button. Let's see. Soaring Eagle said, hey, San Francisco, you're Elemento dead in the water. San Francisco's in trouble. San Francisco's in trouble. They're just good enough to stay competitive, but now, I mean, you add Fred Warner. You just look at how many injury designations San Francisco has, and it is absolutely shocking. I'm just looking at their roster right now. Just the guys that are on the roster. They have 8 and a suspended on offense. They have 7. They have 15 guys on IR and 1 player suspended. That's 16 off basically your 53. That's insanity. I mean, nobody can hold up to that, and I didn't think that team was all that good to begin with. Great North said, Drake May does the right things and he limits his mistakes, which is really all I need out of a quarterback. All these guys have talent. I just need you to not do the Geno Smith thing and turn it over 11 times. Randy, I did see the pass from May to Henderson where he just kind of flipped it out there to him. That was incredibly impressive. Timothy O'Toole, does A.J. Brown get traded? No. Because Philadelphia has no incentive to do that. Oh, he wants out of there. And? I want to date with the Spice Girls. It doesn't mean I'm going to get one. Okay, we've got about 15 more minutes here, so if you got questions, be sure to get those in there. Gambit fan said Arch Manning finally decided to be good, and it's maddening. Are you a bust or not? No, he's a bust. He's a bust for sure. Even what he did well, I saw glimpses of, hey, that kid actually might be good, but it's 2 years away. So I'm still not sure to live it down. Oh, shit. Calm down. ESPN with their ads. James Potter, do you think Washington covers 5.5 tonight? I do. Just for picks of the night, I'm taking Atlanta plus the 3 over the 49.5. Washington minus the 5.5 under 48.5. I had a very strange week of picking games. So what I got right, damn, I got right. And what I got wrong, holy shit, I got wrong. Let's see. Patrick Holt, when will NC State finally James Franklin, Dave Doran? I don't have a good answer to that. It did not look good against Notre Dame. I mean, you kept it close for a minute, and then it went to hell in a handbasket. I don't even remember what the 36-7. Oof. Oof. There are going to be a lot of NCAA jobs come open this year. We only had 5 Power 5 jobs open last year. I could see 15 or more opening this year. Let's see. Sir Jimothy said chances Stickland goes after James Franklin. I'm assuming you're talking about Florida. James Franklin's going to get another job, and I think it'll be a high-end job. The one that I keep hearing that makes the most sense is Virginia Tech because it fits into his recruiting circle, and that's about the type of job he needs. Look, he's a good coach with a fan base of lunatics at Penn State. Let's see. Would he accept? I think he would accept. We have a super chat from Curtis Davis. Any centers my Chargers can trade for, bolt up. The one I'd be looking at would be Josh Myers from the Jets. He is playing guard right now for the Jets, and I'll be honest with you, it doesn't really matter. I mean, they have some young pieces. He's not a particularly young guy, and I think he's an improvement over what you're getting right now, even though I don't necessarily think he's great. There's not a ton of centers out there. I would be looking if Pete Carroll would come off Jackson Powers Johnson, I'd be willing to give up some shit because he's basically said he's never going to play center for me, which to me is stupid. But let's see. Andrew Adams, who's ready for the third Saturday in October? Go Vols. I'm hoping that Tennessee can stay spotless until they play Oklahoma, because I will be at that game, and I really want them. I need Tennessee to beat Alabama this week. Kentucky should not be all that difficult. That'll make that Oklahoma game a primetime game, and that could be a load of fun. We are redoing the Living the Dream tour schedule. We are off this week, and then we will pick back up. We're in Charlotte for Buffalo 2 weeks from now, and we will have the full revised schedule. We did not do as good a job of picking good games this year, so we're going to have to redo some of those things. Joshua Brooks, do you think the Jags make any more trades? I think everybody is going to be looking to make deals. I think you're going to see a lot of guys move. I'm really intrigued by the next month. I think it's going to be absolutely fascinating. Andrew Adams said he had Panthers money line yesterday, as did I. Rico Dowdle, dog. He is dog. And I think it's funny, Jerry Jones was mocking him, and then he beat the shit out of the Dallas Cowboys. That made me laugh a lot. Randy L., I've heard Kamara doesn't want to play anywhere but New Orleans, though. I want to live in Times Square. It doesn't mean it's going to happen. You know, Kamara, if they want to move him, they will. I don't necessarily think they want to, but it should tell you a lot how much Kendre Miller is playing. Always watch with running backs, the touches start to come down when there's real, honest-to-God interest in trading them. And just think about what you've seen out of Alvin Kamara over the last handful of years. He had 10 carries yesterday. And I get it. It's a different coaching staff. I'm well aware of all that. If you look at his game log, he went 11, 21, 18, 15, 8, 10. Receptions have stayed steady at about 5 targets. That's very light for Alvin Kamara. And I think I think there's a good chance Kamara gets moved. Andreas Pinckney said, yeah, he said he's not interested in leaving. At some point, you got to do what's better for the team. And I'm looking at New Orleans right now with how old Alvin Kamara is. If Kansas City came with an offer, or the Bears came with an offer, or whoever it is, it would be hard to turn down. Because draft picks are what's going to relaunch this team. And at the end of the day, Alvin Kamara is a 30-year-old running back. I know you love him. 30-year-old running backs. There's not a ton of them in this league for a reason, and they don't age well. Let's see. Okay. Moabdi asked, Jeremy, do you think Jason... I'm going to say you're talking about... I'm not sure who that person you're asking me is. Moabdi, you'll have to correct the spelling on whoever that is. Are you talking about Jason Light, maybe? I think that's got to be who he's talking about. It's Jason Light. Do I think he's a top 3 GM? I don't think he's top 3, but I think he's good. I've always thought he was good. He's built a pretty good roster in Tampa Bay. First 3 picks look like keepers. I mean, minus Benjamin Morrison that hasn't really played. I mean, I think he's done well. Top 3 is lofty. Top 3 is super rarefied air because Brad Holmes is my number 1, and that ain't changing. Timothy O'Toole, is it the O-line or McDaniels that have pushed May to this level? I'm not giving the credit to Josh McDaniels. That's for damn sure. The line helped. Better coach helps. Better staff helps. So, I mean, I guess I will give McDaniels some credit. And better weapons help. He's just in a better situation than he was a year ago. Gambit, do the Bengals trade for anyone or do they offload pieces? I'll say they're going to offload pieces. I mean, that team looks – they look like the Jets. They're not as bad as the Jets, but that's how they look. And it's shocking to see a team with that much talent look that bad. Jonathan Israel, do you think Brandon Ayuk will produce when he returns? I don't know that he's going to return. I'll be honest with you. I drafted Brandon Ayuk in like the 11th or 12th round of every fantasy league I'm in, and I'm maybe a day away from dropping him. If I don't get a report that he's getting close, it's about time for me to give up. Because everything I've heard is he's not close. Austin Groves, who is the best cornerback safety on the trade market? What's the likelihood one comes to Detroit? I couldn't stop watching last night going, my God, this team's got to have a corner. Now, you'll get DJ Reed back in probably a few weeks, and that will definitely help. But that secondary looked terrible last night. Randy L., are the Ravens going to be sellers? If I were the Ravens, I would be. The question is, what can they sell that doesn't hurt you for the long haul? That team's so bad at this point. I mean, I would definitely be looking at if somebody would take Mark Andrews. I would be intrigued by that. If somebody was interested in Kyle Van Noy, I'd be interested in that. They have movable pieces. They actually have a shitload of movable pieces. The question is, will they movable them? And I don't know the answer to that question. Andreas Pinckney said, my Saints are the king of the poo tier. I would agree with that. Because the Dolphins and the Jets just suck on ice, and so do the Titans. The Saints just don't have enough players. But I would put you in that same tier. Sir Jimothy, Jerry won't make trades. He is all in again. All in on the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah. Jerry, you know what you should trade for? Somebody that can play fucking defense. Because your defense is real, real, real bad. Andrew Adams, any props tonight? I'm not going to lie to you. It is going to be hard for me to see that right now. I'm going to try. Because I am currently in a state where gambling is not legal. And sometimes it goes, you can't see that. That's for up there. Okay. It is actually letting me see it for once. I like anytime touchdowns. If I was betting on a weird one tonight, that Bills defensive plus 500, I like a lot. I have a weird feeling Penix is going to make a boo-boo tonight. I don't think this is – I like the over on practically everything. So the line for Josh Allen is 230 yards passing. I think he's at 232.5. I'd take the over on that. I might even swell that a little bit to 260 to get it to plus 180. Penix is even in the 230s as well. Probably going to avoid that one. I love Bijan Robinson rushing yards today. I love Bijan Robinson receiving yards. Over 40 receiving yards for Bijan Robinson pays plus 136, which is nanners. I like James Cook a lot tonight. I'd probably go over on Drake London, but that's probably the only player prop that I'm really in on. Let's see. Randy L said I give a lot of credit to Josh McDaniels because May looks like he's playing with a cheat sheet. May gets the credit for understanding it fast, though. I can get down with that. Josh McDaniels had a really checkered past with quarterbacks, and look, I will say he put a lot of faith. He put a lot of faith in Tim Tebow that I never really had. I never thought he had a great football mind. He's had a few guys that I didn't think had great football minds. I think Drake May is insanely fucking smart. You know, I've talked to the kid a handful of times, and I will say he gets it. Great North Sports, what's the expectation of Rashee Rice next week for fantasy? For those of them that have stashed him like myself, I think it may start slow, but I wouldn't be worried about it. I'm playing him right out of the gate. I think they need him too badly. So, Sir Jimothy said I need a VPN. It worked anyway. So, but you're probably right. I do probably need a VPN. Gambit, final question. Who's the best team in the NFL and why is it the Colts? Colts, truthers, unite. I have not picked my one yet. And I know that's a cop-out. Tomorrow I will tell you who my number one is. Programming note, I will be right back in this chair tomorrow after several hundred miles of riding because I'm not driving. So we'll do power rankings tomorrow, noon, and I'll have much more time tomorrow than I have today. I have to get on the road to get to Atlanta to get set up for all the things tonight. Let's see. Andrew Adams said Josh Allen over under pass plus rush 270. I like that a lot. I'd go over on that. I appreciate you, Andrew Adams, for those kind words. And Gambit said the Eagles better not be in the top 5. Hell, I'm not sure they deserve to be in the top 10. I can tell you they're not in the top 5. They will be in the top 10, though. Boom. It's an hour almost on the nose. I appreciate all of you for jumping in. The good thing is that tomorrow we'll have some more time to talk about bullshittery and the stupidity that is football. It's what we love the most. Be sure to follow us on all the social medias. I'm going to do some fun stuff tonight outside the Mercedes-Benz Dome. And it's Bills Falcons. Going to hit a few bars. Going to have some fun. We're going to have some fun. Next week, this is also a programming because Tank's back in New York next week. So I will be in this chair a good bit next week, hopefully with some news that is pretty cool. It's pretty cool stuff. So David Smith from Armchair Commentary, Great No Sports, will be with me one day. I think Zach Hurst is going to be with me one day. I have talked to Trevor Sikkema. We're hoping to align the schedules that we could do a 3-hour show together. It might be half Trevor and half somebody else. I think Bill Workman's going to help me one day. We're gonna do some stuff. We're making the best of it. But everybody, above all else, even if you don't go to our social medias, even if you don't want to see our stuff outside of Atlanta tonight, send Tank Spencer a message at Sports Tank ESPN. And just tell him congratulations. This is a big-ass day. It's a big-ass award. It's an award that I can tell you for a fact he has told me numerous times, if you had ever told me I would be here, I would have thought you were lying. Just send him a text, send him a message on Twitter, whatever it is, and just say, hey, good shit, man. And from the rest of us here at the Sportsocracy, we say, good shit, man. Enjoy tonight, enjoy New York, and congratulations to Tank Spencer and Mark Starling. For all of us, I am Jeremy Green from iHeartRadio Greenville in lovely Greenville, South Carolina. I got to get in a car and take my little tiny bag to the Omni Hotel and then run like hell to the stadium. So I'm going to get out of here. I will see you guys tomorrow. Everybody have a good night. And go Commanders. That's really the only one I care about tonight. I'm going to a game, and I don't even give a shit who wins. I think Buffalo's going to win, but I'm not sure of that.